All right, let's talk about some huge news coming out of India. The government is rolling out a massive overhaul of the GST system, and it all kicks in on September 22nd. Now, this isn't just some random policy change you can ignore. This is something that's going to directly affect your budget. And that, of course, leads us to the one question that's on everyone's mind. With all these changes, are you actually going to be spending more each month, or could you end up saving some money? Well, let's dive in and figure it out. So first things first, we need to understand what's actually changing at the core. The government has basically taken a pretty complicated tax system and decided to streamline it, to make it way, way simpler. So here it is, the new 4-tier structure. You've got a 0% slab, which is for absolute essentials. Think things like certain Indian breads and, get this, health insurance. Then there's a 5% slab for your everyday household stuff. 18% covers a whole bunch of standard goods. And then there's the big one, a hefty 40% rate for luxury items and so-called sin goods. Where your shopping list lands on this chart, that's what's going to decide what you pay. Okay, let's kick things off with the good news, the part you've probably been waiting for. We're going to look at what's actually getting cheaper in your day-to-day life. This number right here, 0%, this is probably the biggest relief for middle-class families. Why? Because health insurance policies are now totally, completely exempt from GST. That's a huge deal. It's a real, tangible saving that puts money back in your pocket, year after year. And the savings don't stop there. Check out what happens at the supermarket. Ice creams and cereals, they're dropping from 18% all the way down to 5%. You've got cheese, namkeen, dry fruits, all getting about 7% cheaper. And for so many homes, this is a big one. Basic Indian breads like roti and paratha are now completely GST-free. This is a direct shot at tackling food inflation on things we buy all the time. And it's not just about food. Some of your lifestyle costs are coming down too. That trip to the salon, the tax is dropping from 18% to just 5%. Planning a getaway, hotel rooms under 7,500 rupees a night are also sliding down to that 5% slab. And this is so important. Medicines are dropping to 5% or even 0%, which is a huge step in making healthcare more affordable. Okay, so we've seen all the savings, but you knew this was coming. Let's flip the coin and look at the other side of the equation. What's about to get more expensive? And here is where you can really see the strategy play out. On one side, you have essentials like health insurance, medicine, and food getting cheaper. But on the other side, things that are considered, well, extravagant or unhealthy, they're getting slapped with that new 40% tax. We're talking about sugary drinks, tobacco products, private jets, and even designer clothes that cost more than 2,500 rupees. Now let's talk about the big-ticket items, because the changes for cars and electronics, well, they've got a few twists that might actually surprise you. Okay, this is where it gets a little weird, but in a good way if you're buying a car. You might see that 40% GST on large cars and think, wow, prices are going to go through the roof, but nope. See, the old system had a higher tax plus an extra charge called a cess, which is basically a tax on top of another tax. By getting rid of that cess, the final price on big cars is actually expected to drop by around 10%. And it's the same story for small cars. They're moving to a lower GST rate, also leading to a price cut of about 10%. So it's a surprising win for car buyers all around. The good news keeps coming for other major purchases. Thinking about a new AC or a TV? Well, most of those consumer electronics are going to see a price drop of about 10%. Same thing for two-wheelers under 350cc. But just a heads up, if you're in the market for a new mobile phone or a laptop, there's no change there. The GST rates on those are staying put. So, you see all these different pieces moving around. Some things get cheaper, some get more expensive. The natural question is, why? What's the grand plan behind this whole GST overhaul? It really comes down to 3 main goals. First, to just simplify the old, messy tax system into those clear slabs we just talked about. Second, and this is a big one, to fight inflation by making everyday household goods and healthcare more affordable for everybody. And third, it's about balancing what people buy, making essentials cheaper to encourage that spending while taxing extravagance to help pay for it. You know, if you want to boil this entire philosophy down to a single sentence, this quote just nails it. The government's strategy is clear: support middle-class affordability while taxing extravagance. It's a very direct attempt to ease the financial squeeze on the average family. So, that brings us right back to where we started. We've seen things get cheaper and other things get more expensive. We know the strategy is to lower the cost of living, but the real test, of course, is how this all adds up in your personal budget. So the ultimate question is still on the table. Will these changes actually reduce your monthly expenses? I guess that's something you're about to find out.